Thank you, Brian. Thanks for helping. We're going to start in a few minutes. In the chat is a link. Can everybody please go and download the Excel document that is in the chat feature? This is a working session today. Can you all post a GIF or a happy GIF once you've downloaded the, or GIF, however you say it? Can you guys post a happy GIF once you have downloaded the Excel document? All right, guys, the happiness of working from home. Inside, I have a dog, a little puppy having a meltdown, and outside there's a rooster crowing. So I don't know if you guys can hear that. All right. Let me see how many people we're at. Thank you, Emily. All right, I'm gonna repost the link to for the incoming. Please, please download the Excel document that's in the link to the Excel document that's that's in the chat feature, and then post a happy GIF once you have downloaded the Excel document. And we'll start in just 1 minute. Brian, Blackorby, can you talk about give 2 seconds while I get a plug while I'm outside to talk about the happiness of what is Excel?
The happiness of Excel?
Yep.
Well, I don't even know where to begin. How much time do I have? She may be gone already. That's okay. Well,
the Reader's Digest version.
The Reader's Digest version?
Minutes.
Well, my favorite thing about Excel is the fact that it can be used for things as simple as making a grocery list that you want to add to or take away from, like a checklist, or you can use it to create data that can be used for a laboratory to track test results on Petri dishes. You can use it to automate inventory. You can use it to do what's called a best fit line for correlation studies and the ANOVA test. You can use it to make pretty charts and pie graphs and infographics. You can use it and integrate it with Word documents or integrate it into a presentation. It can be everything and more that you want it to be. And if you learn some of the simple things that I know Carrie has in store for you today, some of the little tips and tricks that are mostly apply to Excel, but even a few that'll apply to Windows in general, I think you're going to surprise yourself really how accessible it is. If it's a big, scary monolith to you that you just you don't even want to admit you don't like to use, hopefully by the end of the day, you're going to learn a few things. You're going to be like, oh, I guess I could use that. Oh, I guess I could do something cool with it. It's going to be pretty awesome. I do truly, it's one of the things I nerd out on is software, and Excel is one of the best.
Thank you, Brian. Me too. Thanks for giving me the second to actually get my computer plugged in. All right, everyone. Welcome to today's Excel lesson. We are actually going to start by everybody. The first thing I want everybody to do is to download can you guys all see my screen? And can you see the Excel? There's a picture of 3 different versions of Excel. I'm hoping you can see that.
We see it. It's very small, though.
All right, hold on. Stop sharing. Share. Is that better, Carol?
Yes.
It's gigantic. It's perfect.
Perfect. All right. So in your chat boxes, everybody should have the Excel document. And I would like, this is a working session, because the only way, in my opinion, to learn, this is not going to be PowerPoint heavy. This is straight up going to be me showing you something and you guys actually doing it on your computers, because the only way to learn this software is to play with it. So I have given you all a sample Excel document in which you guys can all use it. So yeah, okay, everybody will have Excel, even if you've downloaded it. One of the things that you do is, if you do not have Excel downloaded onto your desktop, if you guys go to your OneDrive so you can upload it, let me give you, Brian, can you give the link to, if you just put OneDrive, type in like onedrive.microsoft.com, they can log into their OneDrive and use Excel online?
Sure. Yeah, give me just a second.
And Carrie, if we do have it and we click on that link, it just opens Excel, right?
Yes. If you have Excel downloaded, you have to download it. Do not click on it. You actually have to right click on it and you have to or save it as and download it onto your computer, because otherwise we'll have 60 people all in the same document trying to do the exact same things. Please don't copy the link and open it.
Okay, so I posted the OneDrive link for everybody who's doing this. Just remember, when you click on that, you're going to want to sign in with your Allegis credentials. That's the way to log in properly.
Yep. All right, I'm going to show you guys how to do this step by step just from the screen. All right, you guys are going to go to the document so you can see my chat. So when you go to click on it, there are 3 little dots to the right of it. If you all click download here, it should download into your download folder. I'm on a Mac. I can't tell you where your download folder is. You guys know where everything downloads onto your computers. From the download folder, when you come in, it is going to show up here somewhere. If you then click on the link that Brian has given you, which is OneDrive, if you click on this, it will open up a new browser window, and you're going to put in your Allegis credentials. This is for those people who do not have Excel downloaded on their computer. Once you open it up here, you're going to put it into your drive. So you will move it, just grab it from the folder and drop it onto your system. You can see up in the upper top, it says that it's uploaded onto my OneDrive. So now, and if you double click on the file, one second. I'm trying to find it. I think I just accidentally deleted it. Give me 2 seconds. If you double click on the file, it'll show up in your folder and you'll be able to open it like this on your online version. And everybody raise your hand or give a thumbs up once you have opened it into your folder or on your downloaded Excel. Or actually, so I can get an actual account. Raise your hand once you have it downloaded and opened.
Carrie, this is Carol. If I download and just put it on my desktop, it's okay?
Yeah, double click it and open it if you have Excel. This is for anybody who does not have a downloaded version of Excel.
Okay, sorry.
I'm looking. Just a few more. Quite a few. Please download and then upload. If you do not have Excel downloaded onto your computer or installed, you will need to open it in the web version. So we need you to upload it into your OneDrive. There's a link for OneDrive. Once you have it open on your computer, please raise your hand. Elvira, you have to download it and then you have to upload it to OneDrive using your Aerotech email. Elvira, do you have a question?
I'm trying to, it's asking PIN.
There should be no pin. All you have to do is click on this link. I'm giving you the link from Brian Blackorby. I'm putting it back in the chat.
Okay.
Click on that link and put in your Aerotech email address and password. Okay. The same username and password you use for your Aerotech email and all of that.
Okay.
All right, I'm checking to see who else has their hands up. Please raise your hand once you have it downloaded and have it open. There are a lot of people here who do not have it open. Can you guys tell me what's going on?
Well, I have it's coming securely store and share the files.
Can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you share your screen with me? I'll stop sharing. I don't know I don't know that error. You know how to share your screen?
I know how to share my screen, not only with you, but with everybody.
Yeah, never mind. Don't worry about it. Brian, can you work with Elvira on the back side?
Yeah, Elvira, I'm going to disconnect from the meeting. Why don't you unplug from the meeting real quick? We'll get together and then you can rejoin in a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Carrie?
All right. Yes.
Okay, this is Susan. So I can click on a field and it will populate, but I can't edit it. In other words, I can put it in the taskbar, but I can't. If I actually go to do any exercises, it's probably not going to work. So when I click on, let's say, the F column number 9, row number 9, and I want to type in the FX, if I try to type, it won't do anything. If I say edit book, then it creates the screen that I put in the chat, which is to edit this file in the browser, we need to convert it to the newest.
Go ahead and mark it convert. Yes, go ahead and convert it.
Yeah. And I did that step. Let me see what happens. Okay, you're right. It's working now. Thank you.
All right. You are so welcome. All right. Now that the vast majority of people have it up and ready to go, now let's go ahead and start going over Excel. You guys can all put your hands down.
I don't have mine running. I have Excel, but for some reason, I don't know what's going on. And I'm kind of getting frustrated with technology.
Okay, well, you have to download it and then upload it into OneDrive then, and open it in the online version, and then hit convert. And it should open.
The thing is, when I go to sign in, it makes me do that over and over again. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
You have to use your Aerotech email address and your Aerotech password.
Okay, Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
We're back. Just a fair warning, if anyone else has seen this, it might just open up, depending on your operating system. This Excel file may just open up inside of your Teams viewer, and that's fine too. Elvira's did that. It opened up inside of the Teams viewer for Excel, and she's able to use that. It'll be just fine.
Once you downloaded it?
I'm not exactly sure which way she ended up doing it, but it was open, so she was good to go.
Oh, then I'll just do that. I have it open.
Okay. If you just open it, there'll be about 30 people working in it together. It's all right. Whatever. It's okay.
Yeah, and I can't tell because when she opened it, I couldn't tell which version she had open, but she had a downloaded version in OneDrive, and I assume that's the one that was open, but it was right there to see.
All right. Thank you. All right. So let's just jump in and begin. So as you guys can see, some of you guys are on a web version of Excel, some of you are on a downloaded version of Excel, and some of you are, and it depends on your computer system. If you have a Mac, if you have a PC, if you have or online. On my screen right now, I have 3 different versions of Excel. So you can see at the top, this is if you are on a downloaded version of Excel. This at the top is the PC Excel. So if you're running a Windows-based system, this is what your screen will look like. It will be green at the top, and it'll start with File at the far left and say Home all the way across. This is your ribbon. Your ribbon is your primary location of where you're going to find everything. It's the same as in Microsoft Word. It's the same as in everything. If you're in a Mac, then you're going to see it depends on the color scheme that you have your Mac set to. Mine is set to dark. So mine shows up and my ribbon is in black. And you can see that it's actually laid out very similarly. It just looks different. The text looks a little bit different. The placement of where everything is just slightly, off and different. And then on the bottom is the online. Yes? Hello? Okay. And on the bottom is the online Excel version. So if you're on the online, this is what you guys will see. So just for an FYI, before you guys begin, that the online version does have, it's a full version. You can do almost everything that you can do on a downloaded version of Excel. However, there are features that we'll go over later that are not that you cannot do on the online version that you can do in the downloaded version of Excel. But 99% of what you guys will need to do can all be done on the online version or on the downloaded version. All right, does everybody see this? And can everybody raise your hand if you can see the Excel in your document? and the ribbon. Awesome sauce. All right. So now I'm going to stop sharing this. I'm going to share my primary screen. And everybody should have, I'm going to go and start using this from my downloaded version. So can everybody see can somebody, I can't see Teams, can somebody unmute themselves? Can you see the Excel document that you should all have a copy of on your screen?
Yes.
From my screen.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is just a working temporary document. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually go over what the layout is of Excel, how it's made up, and all of the different components. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is, hold on, give me 1 second. I need to do 2 things before I do this. Got too many things going on. PowerPoint. I don't know where it is. Okay, there we go. So you guys get to see all the stuff, fun stuff that's on my screen. All right, so this is Excel. And so the first thing that we're going to do is I want to go over, and a lot of today is an intro, and it's going over some tips and tricks. So I know that there are some advanced users of Excel in here, and you may not want to go over all of these details. So I'm going to have a challenge for my advanced users. So those people who are here, who are advanced users and don't want to necessarily and know most of everything that I'm about to teach, which is a lot of the beginning but tips and tricks, is that one of the things that you can do is create a set of colors, a custom colors, so that when you guys have tables and all of that, they change colors, and you can name it and you can have it imported so that you set the colors of what your template and what your document will look like. So my challenge to you guys is that for those people who are here, who are advanced users only, super advanced users, is I would like them to go out and create their own custom color tablet, and then make sure it's in Excel. And then at the end of the training, I'll ask if anybody has one to show us your color palette. All right, so now for everybody else. So we're going to go over and we're going to start with the ribbon. So every time you open up Excel or any of the Microsoft products, it's all laid out similarly. And this area at the top of the screen is known as the ribbon. So the home screen that we are on right now, which is where it defaults to when you open up Excel, this is your primary location. They call it home because it has all of the features that you need and would use regularly. So for instance, on the far left-hand side, this is where you can find, if you don't want to use keyboard shortcuts, which we're going to go over in a little while, some keyboard shortcuts. On the upper left, this is where you can cut, copy, paste, and change your formatting. You have the stuff that you guys are pretty well aware of is that you can change the fonts, the size. You can change if you click into a cell. I would like everybody to click into any cell that you guys have on the main screen. And in the middle here, underneath in the box that has the font and the sizing, there are two boxes that you will use regularly. The first one is the one with a color under it. And if you click on the downward caret next to it, you can see that the colors that are set for this document are here, and you can actually change the color of the cell. So if everybody would go ahead and change the color of any cell to any color that you would like.
Carrie, in the meantime, while folks are doing that, you have a few hands up. I'm not sure if there are questions to address.
Can you call on people?
Yeah, Cameron, did you have a question?
Sorry, my hand was still up from earlier.
Mona, did you have a question?
Nope, sorry, my hand was up from earlier too. I'll take it.
All good. Thank you, guys.
All right. So now that you guys have all changed the color of a cell, the next one over is where you would change the font color. So if I were to type in any cell, so if I were to type in, as you can see here, the quick brown box, and I hit enter, right now the font is in black, and you can see that it's located in the bottom of the cell, and it's to the bottom left-hand corner of the cell. So the first thing I want to do is turn that font a different color. So if I'm clicked into the cell anywhere, and then I click on the downward arrow to the right of the A, which is font color, and if you hover over it, it will say font color. When you click on it, you can actually change the font color to anything that you would want. Another option that you have is that I don't like this. I don't like that it's on the bottom of the box. I like it to be in the middle of the box. To the right of the section of the ribbon that has the font color and the square and the cell color are your formatting, where you want it to show in a cell. So if I were to click, so there are two lines. The top line shows me where I want it on a vertical basis. So do I want it on the bottom of the box? Do I want it in the middle of the box? Or do I want it on the top of the box? Usually I prefer it depending on what the view is, I like it in the middle of the box. And do I want this to be centered, or do I want it to be left hand aligned or right hand aligned? So these boxes to the middle are your alignment tabs. So go ahead and play with the alignment for a minute. If you do not see these boxes on your ribbon, in the lower right-hand corner may be a little square with a triangle pointing down and to the right. I don't have that because my screen is at full capacity, so I don't have that. But if you do, then you can click on that little square with a little downward angle, and you will have an expanded view of what's available, and you would be able to see these formatting boxes. So I'll give you guys a second to do that. All right. To the right of that are some more formatting options. So there's a little AB with an arrow pointing out, and this is if you want to have your text angled inside the box. So for instance, if I wanted it to go up and to the right for viewing, or I wanted to have it vertical, or I wanted to rotate the text to face up. If I wanted to rotate the text in any direction, I can change it just from there. If I don't like this, I can do actually a couple of things. I can undo what I've done. And one way to undo it is if you are on a Mac, you would hit the command button with the little square with the circles on it and Z at the same time. And that will undo it and take it to the last thing that you did. So, and if you're on a PC, the keyboard shortcut is Control. You hold the Control button and the letter Z at the same time, and it will undo it. And you can undo it as many times. You can keep going back until it's memorized from the last save. Now, I just undid it one too many times, and my keyboard shortcut to redo this is to hit the Command Y if I am on a Mac, and a commit or Control Y on the PC is the commands that you use for keyboard shortcuts. If you don't like keyboard shortcuts and you want to undo something, you have a couple of options. You can come up to the very top of your screen on the green bar at the top of Excel. You can see where they have the close, the X to the left, then you have a minimize, and then you have a full screen. To the right of that is usually a home button, and you might see a little printer tab. To the right of that is a little down arrow, and it's pointing down, and this is on all screens. And this is your quick access toolbar. This is something where you can have shortcuts to do various operations like print screen or undo or redo. And so if you click on the downward arrow and you click undo, you'll see on the top of your quick access toolbar that an arrow will show up on the upper left-hand corner up at the top as a shortcut. And if you click on that, it will undo and keep undoing. And this is your quick access toolbar. So some of the key tips that I would say that you should have up here is you should select print, which is print screen, so you can see what something looks like, undo, and repeat. These are the ones that is if you undo something, if you undo something and then you go too far and you need to go back one, you can have both arrows up on your screen. Does anybody have any questions? Was everybody able to get to the quick access toolbar up at the top of the screen? Brian, do you see anything?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I was answering someone else's question.
I was asking, are there any hands up? I asked if anybody had any questions about the quick access toolbar.
There's one, there's Climaco.
Okay.
Okay, I was able to log in, but I click on the practice one with the arrow tech, and it doesn't allow me to make any changes. It says only view.
You have to hit convert on the online version. And then it'll work.
Okay. Could you show me really quick how to do that? So I'm spacing out here.
Brian, can you help Climaco?
Yeah, Climaco, just drop out real fast. We'll do a quick chat. I'll show you and we'll jump back in.
All right. So the next thing, since everybody has the quick access toolbar at the top, the next thing that we're going to go over is the next section, which is like, as you can see right now, I have the quick brown fox is written into a cell and it goes across multiple cells. So I can actually type this whole thing out, jumped over lazy dog's tail, right? And now you can see, as long as it went, it looks like it's going over, it looks like it's in multiple boxes, but it's actually only in one cell. Now I want this not to go across to other cells, because if I have something written in this cell, like hi, now you can see that there's text in the cell to the left of it, but you can't see everything. So one thing that you guys can do is click on the cell, and to the right of the where you get to change the direction is wrap text. And what wrap text does is it tells the cell to just keep wrapping until it's the size of the cell. So you can still see that that cell is not big enough for the whole sentence. So there's a couple of things that you can do to resize this if you want it to stay in one cell. The one thing that you can do is on the wherever the column is that you have everything laid out, you can click on the column, and to the right and to the left of it, if you hover over the column where it says I'm in G and I'm in 5, if you hover over the column and you come to the right of the column or the left where the line is, you'll see that a little arrow, I'm circling right here, you can see that a straight line appears with 2 arrows pointing right and pointing left. If you click on that, you can actually drag the column as wide or narrow as you want it to be. So I'll let everybody go ahead and practice that, clicking it to be wider. And the same thing goes for the rows. So if you need it to be taller in one direction or lesser, if you go between the two columns or rows and hover, a black line with two arrows will appear, and it allows you to resize the cell to be the size that you guys want. So I want everybody to practice resizing a cell that way. Let's see. Are there questions? Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions so far? You can see I have to. All right. The next thing that we're going to do is show you how to resize the cell in a different way. All right, so here we're back. So the next thing that you guys can do is you can resize a cell in another way. So let's say I want this column to be a specific width. I can right click. So if you go to the top of the column where it says G or whatever column you have your writing in, and if you're on a Mac, you may not have a right click option. So you will hold down the Control key and click on the letter, and a new menu will appear. If you're on a PC, you can right click on your mouse and a new menu will appear. So on a Mac, you want to hit the Control button and then click on it and a new menu will appear. And if you are on a PC, you can right click. So to the right of that, you have another bunch of options. See, another way of cutting, copying, pasting, undoing. But one of the cool things here is that there is an option called column width. So if you click on the word column width, you can set it so that one or multiple columns are the same width. So if I clicked on 25, this one column will become 25. And if I click on the G and then hold the Shift key and click on the H, and I right click and hold the Control key and hit column width again, I can actually make them both the same size, or all of them to be exactly the same size. Now, can I ask a quick question? Is this easy to follow along? This is difficult to do like online, so I just want to make sure that everybody is where we're at. And is this easy to follow along?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is I want to show you some of the other cool formatting that you can do. So let's say I have a number and I want to turn it, if I'm putting something into a cell, up on the top of my ribbon, you see here I have a couple of options, and I need this to be, I put in the number 4, or you guys can put in any number into a cell. It doesn't matter, just put a regular whole number into a cell. It can be 567, whatever it is. And I want to turn this into dollars. A shortcut to making sure that everything is dollars is in the middle section on my home screen are some quick formatting tabs. And if I click on the dollar sign, this square will turn into a dollar. And it automatically, once I do that and I mark it as a dollar, it changes it so you can see to the left, it has a dollar sign, and to the right of it, it says 567, and it puts 2 decimal places to the right of it. Let's say I don't want to see, I just want to see 567. I do not want to see 567.00. So one of the things to the right of that are these zeros that have a left arrow and a right arrow. So the one to the left adds, it's telling it to push the zeros to the left, so you add more decimal places. And if you push it to the right, they disappear. All right, so I want everybody to try that. Put in a whole number into a cell. It doesn't matter, 678, whatever number you want. You can click on the $sign. And now I want you to take away 2 zeros, 2 decimal places. So to the right of the dollar, you'll see these zeros that have a left blue arrow and a right blue arrow. So choose the one with the right blue arrows and press it twice, and those decimal places will disappear. So what this does is allow it to clean it up. Let's say I have a lot of numbers and some of them have 6 decimal places and some have 1 decimal place. It allows you to condense the number so it'll keep rounding it up to the nearest. So like, let's say if I did 0.567, a really long decimal like this, and I only needed it to show that it was 0.57. If I have this and I click on the zeros with the right arrow, you'll see as I go up, it keeps rounding it up. So now as I round it up, it's now showing the same number. And if you see at the top, this is the text box. So underneath the ribbon is the text box where all of the text is viewed. You can actually see the entire number, but the cell itself on the main work screen now shows 0.57, and this is what would print on the screen. But the whole number is there so that you can do accurate calculations. So that is one of the formatting tabs. All right, so for all of the other things that are to the right of this, which is about conditional formatting and all of that, we're actually going to get into that in a later class. But I wanted to go on to some more of the options that you have and some more options that are on the ribbon in Excel. So everybody has been on the home screen. To the right of home is the insert tab. So if everybody will go ahead and click on insert, just so you can see what's on this screen. All right, so we've all been on the home tab. Everybody will go and click on the word insert. You'll see what's on the insert screen. All right. We are not going into a lot of details here. I just want you to see this, that when you are inserting something into the document, you want to add an extra tab, or you need to see create a chart, or you need to do a lot of the other cool functionality, or you want to put a pretty picture into the document, insert is where you would come. And we're actually going to go over a lot more of this in later classes where we go over pivot tables and all of that. But we'll do another exercise in a little bit. To the right of the Insert tab is the Draw tab. And this allows you to literally just draw on the screen. So you can choose the pen and handwrite. This works really well if you're using Excel on a tablet. But for instance, I've got my Mac and I click here, I click on the Draw tab, and it's giving me this. And if I, hold on, let's pick my pen, and it gives me like a little dot, and I can draw right on it, so I can circle something if there's something that I want. I hate my scribbles, so I'm going to undo. Can anybody tell me what the keyboard shortcut for undo is? Elizabeth?
Yeah, Command Z.
Thank you. And if you're on a Mac, it's Command Z, and on a PC, it's Control Z. So I'm going to hit Control Z, and my scribbles have gone away. All right, so that is literally just the Draw tab. To the right of that is Page Layout. So if everybody clicks on Page Layout, this is a really important tab. This is a tab where you will set the main colors so that you don't have to manually change the colors. Let's say you have a theme and you need it to be that for your company or whatever you're doing. This is where you would set the colors of your document. Excuse me. This is where you'll set the margins. So I'm printing it on a legal size document, or I'm printing it on a paper size document. And I need the margins to be 1/2 inch, 1 inch, whatever I need the margins to be. So to the left, far left is theme. So theme is where there's already pre-made themes that have fonts and colors associated with it. Colors is just a color pack. So for instance, I'm on the regular Office. When you default to opening up any document, if it doesn't have a new document and it doesn't have a color or theme associated with it, it will default to using Office colors. Now I've made a couple of custom ones, and you can see when I choose another color pack to this, it actually changes the table and changes the images. So if everybody wants to go ahead and pick a color scale, you want red, violet, or whatever, just so you can see what the different colors are that are available. All right. All right. So to the right of colors, the next area is where we set our orientation and our page and our margins. So it defaults to normal. So every document in Excel will default to having a top with a 0.75 inch and a bottom, and it's around 0.75. That is the default that almost every Excel document will default to. They have wide margins, narrow margins, and you can customize your margin size depending on your printing that you need. To the right of margins is orientation. I'm doing it in portrait, but let's say I have a very long table and I want it in landscape so that it can all fit on one page easier and it's easier to view. I can choose to have my setup for landscape.
Carrie.
Yep.
I just want to point out something that Susan discovered, and this is one of that 1% of things that may not be viewable in the web version, is that some of the page layout options aren't going to display, and I think that's something that I knew, but Susan pointed out that she wasn't seeing, and I just wanted to let anyone else who was curious know that.
Okay, thank you so much. There are differences between the web versions. All right, but one of the key things that I wanted to show you guys is in Excel, a lot of times you will have these absolutely massive documents, but you don't need to print the whole document. You only need to print a small section of it. Like I don't need to see the Bull Run team roster, and I only need to see the column for first name, last name, and cell phone number. I don't want to print the addresses. I don't care about it. So one of the things that I can do is I can select and show only what I want to print. So there's a couple of ways to do this. If you click on the cell for first name and then hold down the shift key and click on the last phone number in the bottom of the table, bottom right-hand table, and you click in that, if you hold the shift key down, it will select everything from the upper left-hand corner down to that corner that you did. So when you are doing selections in Excel, or actually anywhere, and you hold the shift key, so if I do hold to the far left and all the way to the right and hold the shift, it will select everything in between on that row and on that column. So shift means it will select everything. So, however, another way to select this entire section is if I click on first name and I hold down my mouse and drag it down to the lower right-hand corner, I can see that it's all selected because there is a green outline around it, and it shows me that it's selected. So I can do this in a couple of different ways for selections. So now I want to set this print area so that this is the only area that prints. So on the ribbon for page layout, to the right of size is a box called print area. If you click on the downward caret to the right of print area, one of the options is to select set print area. If you click set print area, when I hit print, the only thing that's going to print is what I had selected because that's what I set as the print area. So how do I know that that's what's going to print? Up on the top of your screen, you can do this in a couple of ways. One way is to go to the top of the screen and click print and have the print visible. When I click print, it will show me a print preview. And on this print preview, you can see, let me zoom in. It won't let me zoom in, but I can, it won't let me zoom in. You can see that the only thing selected to print is that print area that I set when I clicked set print area. If that is not the area that I want to print, I can always hit cancel and I can redo it. So I can select the entire table and I can come down and hit set print area. And now if I didn't want to go up and press print preview at the top and I wanted to see what it looks like, I can hit the Command P if I'm on a Mac or Control P if I'm on a PC. And you can see that the print dialog box opens. And now you can see that this is printing, but you can also see that it is now one of 2 pages. So it's set to print across 2 pages. I still only want it to fit on 1 page, but I want the whole thing. So I can do one of 2 things. I can change the orientation from portrait to landscape, and it will all be on 1 page. Or I don't like printing things in landscape because I want to be able to put it in my binder properly. I leave it on portrait, but I want it to fit onto 1 page. If you look to the right of your print dialog box, on the very bottom of it, underneath where orientation is, there's a checkbox for scale to fit. So if you click scale to fit, I want it to fit to 1 page wide and 1 page tall. And so when it sets this, you can see that it now fits onto a single page. There's a lot of steps, and I can hit cancel. Does anybody have any questions about set print area? Mine too, Susan. I love set print area. It saves a lot of time. All right. So the rest of this, there's a lot of additional stuff that you guys can do. Another way you can set the print area to be 1 page tall is to set your dimensions, is to the right of this. You have the width and the height of your document. Another cool thing in page layout is if I want to see the grid, so right now it defaults to showing me in light gray the grid lines. If I don't want to see them, I can uncheck view grid lines and it turns everything that does not have borders around it white. So you can't, so you can choose to see these or choose not to. The other thing that it to the right on page layout allows you to do is to click on the checkbox to view the headings, which is the column numbers and the row number, the column letters and the row numbers, or not to view it. So that is, you can uncheck that. All right. So the next tab over on the ribbon that we're going to go over is formulas, and I'm just going to do a quick intro to this. And this is only that we're going to go over these more, and this is how to add up and sum and do all of the cool calculations that Excel has at its fingertips. To the right of formulas, the next tab over is data. And data, this is where when you guys need to sort and filter and change and update what you want to see. Like, so for instance, when if I needed to see all of these names in alphabetical order, I would set the sorting and filtering. We're going to go over that in a later, we're going to go over more details of sorting and filtering because it seems easy, but there's a lot more things that you can do with sorting and filtering. The next tab over from data is review. And this is a cool option, which most people don't realize. Excel also has spell check and a thesaurus. So if you are writing and using documentation and need complete sentences and you want to make sure that all your spelling is on, if you come to review on the upper left-hand corner, you can click on spelling and it will actually run a spell check through the document for you. And so you can go one by one and choose what is spelled correctly or incorrectly. You can also find a thesaurus for your words. You can add comments, and this is where you would protect your worksheet from anybody setting it. I want to note that in the online version of Excel, some of these features are not available. You cannot protect and unprotect the worksheet or the workbook from the online version. To the right of review is the view tab. And one of the view tabs is, this is another way of setting what you see and how you see it. You can do this in a couple of ways. It defaults to the normal view. So the second box over to the right on the ribbon, it defaults to normal view. However, there are a couple of views that you can see. You can see where the page breaks are on the screen. So you can see that we set the print area. So everything here is on one page and everything else is not set to print. So when you click the page break preview, you can see the page layout view. So this is how everything would, if you print everything without setting the print area, you can see how it would break up on different pages. So it's easiest to work on normal view, and then it's easy to figure out how everything's going to break up for printing so you can reset it later by clicking on the page layout view. Again, this is another place that you can set and view grid lines or turn them on or off. It's another one where you can turn off the formula bar. Let's say you don't need to see the formula bar. This is where you set your formula or see the full complete numbers and everything that's in a text box in a cell. And you can turn on and off headings again. I'm currently zoomed to 150% to make this easier to view on the screen. But if I needed to make it smaller to see more, I had a bigger table, I can change my view manually from 150. I can also click onto any cell, and if I'm on a laptop, I can use the pinch settings on my mouse or on my touchpad to also set the percentages and how big I'm viewing everything. Another way to change your view size is in the lower right-hand corner at the very bottom of the screen. I'm circling it on the lower bottom of the screen. There's a plus and a minus to the right, and you can actually drag and slide on the bottom, and it also changes the zoom control of how zoomed into your table you are. All right, I have a couple of tabs up at the top that you guys don't have that you can add. I've Developer and Acrobat because I've put in an add-in that my Excel works with Acrobat. But to the right of that, and it doesn't matter if you're on the online version or on a downloaded version, is Tell Me. So Tell Me is your biggest asset within Excel, because no matter how advanced you are in Excel, no matter what you do, you still don't know how to do everything. The functionality within Excel is boundless. And because of that, you don't remember where it is found or what tab it's found under or what file it's found under. And I just want to do something and I don't remember where it is, and I started looking. So if I wanted to add a chart, I can click in and put in a sentence and add a chart. And you can see that it takes you to showing you how to add in charts or to do whatever. Let's say I wanted to do a sum formula. And it shows me what all of the different formulas are. So Tell Me allows you to give you the shortcut to allow Excel to find the tool that you're looking for. All right, we are almost out of time. So I wanted to know before we end this, if you guys have any questions. Is this an okay, I need to know because we're going to rerun this on Wednesday and we might go over some more things before you guys all leave. Can I ask you what works about what we've done so far and what the challenges are so that I can help you and we can improve this for next time?
This is Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the Tell Me goes, in the browser version, I don't have something that says Tell Me. Instead, there's a search bar at the top.
Yes. Sorry, I have that open here as well. So yes, there's a search that helps you. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Hi, Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
This is
Go ahead,
Susan.
Susan.
Right. So maybe if you had an active chat watcher, and they were able to relay any questions that are coming up in the chat or find a timing when you call on the person to say, were there any questions? They could say them all in a row. That might be helpful if it gets more complicated than this in the next training. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of sort of what I was supposed to be doing, but you guys didn't ask a lot of questions.
So
It went fast though. Carrie, from my perspective, Carrie, you covered a lot of ground. That was pretty incredible, especially with figuring out the download up front.
yeah. So we've missed a couple of things that I wanted to cover, but overall, I think that this was just a really good jumping off point to give you guys an overview of the navigation within Excel. As we get into deeper sessions, we will start going into doing more like formulas and sorting and charts and getting deeper into the functionality. But it's really important that you understand first where everything is and how to find it. All right, so that concludes the session for now. And we will see you guys on Wednesday. And I would suggest, even if you came today because there were some challenges, to try and come again on Wednesday if you guys are on, because Brian is going to run it and he might have some other tips and tricks, and hearing it multiple times and doing it multiple times is the best way to get practice. So, all right, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys later.
Thank you.